Hello everyone, my name is Rajesh Kumar and I'm your Devops SRE DevSecOps coach. You have understood in the last session what, why and how. Now today we'll focus on coding, how to write a code in Terraform. So last day I said if you want to write a code in Terraform you have to use TF, means code you have to store in TF. Okay, so that is something. Let me log into Azure also. I think my account will get deactivated today only. Hmm. So this is Azure. Okay, so I'm deleting that all those resources, and now I need a AWS also. And okay, so this is Azure and this is the AWS. So now coming back to the question, how to write code in Terraform. So first thing is in the code what we have that you have to understand. So in the code, in Terraform code, you have resources. What is the resources? So let me show you here. See here. In AWS, you have a resources. More than 5,000 resources we have in AWS. Similar Azure also. So one of the resources is EC2 instance. In the in the Azure also, sorry. So we have resources. Look at this. We call it resources. Correct now? So we have a resources. We have a resources. So I will ask now. I don't know. So these resources again. One more thing, important thing. Terraform is a tool for coding for infra, let's say AWS or Azure. So for writing a code, you need to have a prerequisite AWS good knowledge and Azure good knowledge. If you don't have a good knowledge, it's very difficult to write a code. For example, I'll tell you, if you're writing a code for banking domain, then you need to know how the banking works, right? What are the forms is being filled, correct now? So then you can write a software for that. Agree? Hello?
Yeah.
Yes,
So
yes.
same way, you are writing code using Terraform. I'll teach you Terraform, but you need to know providers very well. Providers mean 2000 plus 3000 plus provider, which I shared last session. So you need to know AWS, Azure and all. So one of the things which you know very well is we can create a VMs in Azure also. We can create a VMs on AWS also. But anyways, I will ask Terraform itself. Hey Terraform, give me that how many resources you have. So I browse to this website and I click on the AWS and I will click on the documents. So like that you will access only official documents. Why? Because there's lots of changes happening. If you search Google, you may find outdated information also. So be careful. So I'm asking, hey, how many resources you have? So you see that here, these are the categories. These are not the resources. In an AWS, we have a categories. So one of the categories which we have a compute, Elastic Cloud Compute, EC2 we call it, right? So somewhere here. And then here you have a resources. See, these are the resources. So because we have a thousands of resources like that, it's not easy to go and hit here and learn everything. So first get a project actually. What you are trying to do in a project, that is important. And then see that project, which are the resources you need to code for it. And then start writing or looking for the resources. That approach, it will be easy for you. So I have a project in my mind. I want to create an instance using Terraform on AWS and Azure. What do we do in this case? So here I am going to find out the resources, and here I have a resources. Look at this. Sorry, this is the data source, not data source. I'll talk about data source later. Find out the resources here. Now you see that these resources allow instance to be created, updated, and deleted. That's all. So here you have a simple example for it. I'll teach you. And then here, go down. Here you have arguments. And if you see that each resources, you have hundreds of arguments. So now you'll say, Rajesh, what these arguments for and all. So let me tell you, it's not specific to Terraform. Let me show you here. When you go and create a one instance on AWS, I'm showing you manually. Okay. Here, let's say create an instance here. So see here, what do you give it? Name, AMI, type, key pair, network setting, storage, and some advanced. So these are arguments actually. See here, same option you will find it here also. Understood this? All
Yeah,
of you?
yeah,
So if you know this one, the one which I showed you, then you understand this one. Some of them are required, some of them are optional. Most of them are optional. Okay. So here how we write a code for it. So in Terraform code.ttf code, we have a resource one. Want to create resource two. This can be EC2 instance. This could be EBS. This could be S3. Different resources which you want to create it. And their arguments. Arguments one, arguments two, arguments three. Like that, each resources depends on a requirement for the coding. You write arguments. And this is your code. That's all. So simple. You don't have to complicate yourself. How to write a code? So Terraform it code is nothing but a collections of resources. Yes, slowly I will what do you say complicate also, but slowly now more than sufficient. So now you understood that what is the resources contents, all of you.
yep. Yeah, I do.
So what to do? So this is, I'm going to write a code. So I'll go to the examples, and here this is one resources. So this resources will create one EC2 instance on AWS. Here AMIs will be instance type and so on. AMIs here data I'm going to hard code. So let me take the AMIs here. Yeah, done. This will create one instance. Same way, I will ask, I will ask Azure also, Terraform providers. Here, Azure documentation. Left side, all these are categories. Compute category, go for it. COUM here. And this is the, this will create a virtual machines. Okay. But if you know Azure, before creating a virtual machine, you need to create a Azure resource group now. This will create a resource group. Now I'm not explaining too much because you know that downside arguments will be there. See, so here I'm creating one resources which is a AWS EC2 instance, and here I'm creating one Azure group and all. So two resources, two provider. Now the question is how to do that, how to run it. So that I'll show you. So here, let me create one folder, Terraform, and this, in this folder I will have one uh, project, project one. In the project I will write providers. Today I might have done it, and this is Azure RM provider, and this is AWS provider. Done. And these two providers. Anyone remember the command to download this provider? Terraform
I need to
init,
initialize it.
init now.
Yeah, Terraform
This will
init.
download. Now I'll write a code. So what I'll do, because I like the modularization. So here AWS underscore resources dot df, and here I will go ahead and one. You can keep it everything in one file, no problem. But you know, this is the file, save it. Now I want to hard code this EC2 instance, AMI ID, done. This will create resources. Now similar way, I will add one more file, Azure resources. Let me run this. So here what to do? Init is done,
Terraform
completed. Now next command you should do plan.
plan. Yeah.
So what plan will do? So plan will tell
Plan
you
will show
whether
you all
the
what it's gonna create.
dry run, it will tell you dry run. But before plan, you have some problems in the code itself. Now, do we have any other commands using that you can get the check done? So there is a one command which you have validate. Okay. So if you think you want to validate the code is good or not, run this. Code is not good. That's the reason that error is coming. You should read the error. What is happening? This AMI should be in a string. I provided, not a string, you see. So how many types of data you have? So guys, now you need to know a little bit of Golang also. Golang type. Why? Because Terraform is developed using Golang. So if you want to do any customization in future also, it required. Kubernetes also. So these are the type. So it required string, not an integer. That failed. So I'll just write here. Done. Again validate. Code is correct. Hopefully. Done. Now I'll run the plan. So I write a code, one time activity in it. After that validate, plan, dry run. In the dry run, what is stating? Hey, credential issues, invalid credentials. So what to do? So here there is a problem, authentication
Mm,
problem.
I have a question if I may interrupt in between.
Yeah,
By looking into the error, how did you know? Because I mean, it's a string error only.
yeah.
You did, I mean, with this error information, you couldn't be able to predict. I mean, it's on line 2, it's quite obvious, but it, okay, resource type.
Yeah. So resource type will
Yeah.
come from the Golang. Okay.
Mhm.
So here one more thing. Let me check the documentation for that. AMI now. So go to the attributes downside. Look for the AMI and this is optional. And if you see that somewhere it should be string. Let me see. So type is not there, but sometime you get lucky, you get a good documentation. So that is what your experience will tell you. So here resource type and all stuff like that. Got it? So for example, if you use other attributes, count. Count is integer. So you need to write a number. Sometime you need to write a Boolean value, true and false. So this, because remember that maybe we are running from the coding, but if you go into the depth, programming language definitely will help you. Understood now?
Yep.
So this is a resource. Here authentication issues is there. So I don't know how to set the authentication for AWS. So I will ask AWS provider only. Hey AWS provider, tell me how can I set authentications? So AWS says, okay, read my documents first page and whatever the authentication options I'm having, I am giving you the tutorial for it. Similar way, um, similar way, similar way. Azure, I ask Azure, hey Azure, tell me how can I set up authentication method. So Azure said I have a 5 method. Now these are the 5 method is not Terraform method, mind it. These are the Azures actually. These are the method is not Terraform. These are the AWS specifications. So like that. So what to do? So I'll go and set my authentication. So let me get my authentication key in AWS. I'm generating one key just for temporary. After use, please delete it. So the question is, how do I set? I have authentication. How do I set? So I will ask provider, hey provider, tell me how do I set? So provider set depends on the which options you want to it. You can set. You have to read this actually. There's no another way. I'm teaching you, so it's like a saving a time. But once you are starting some provider your own, see I'll cover one or two provider, but you will work more provider in future. So you'll have to read it once. You have to spend time. Got it, right? So here I got it. I need to set this one. So here, this is the AWS provider. I need to set my region. Which region? So region is North Virginia, US East 1. What is access key? This one is access key. And what is the password? Secret key. This one. Done. Simple. By the way, this is a words practice. Embedding the key in the words practice. There is a many ways you will learn slowly. I'm not complicating right now. Best practices for storing the credential. And one more time. See here. How many resources? 1. Are you changing? 0. Are you destroying? 0. So now if you see that, next one is apply. Enter. Plan, validate. Remember first thing, validate. Plan, dry run, apply, run, and destroy last. They will ask you confirmation. Hey Rajesh, are you willing to create one resources? And resource details are here, you see. So right now I have one resources, but in real time you may have hundreds of resources. So people normally do not learn, read, but because you are learning, no, you just should spend some time here and then press yes. Enter. No means about it. Now is being created, and now you go to AWS EC2, and here you see here, this one is creating. Got it?
Yes.
So just wait for it. See, added, change, destroy. What about if you rerun? You have not changed the code, mind it.
Error or
No, no error. Because whatever you desire in TF, whatever in actual you have in AWS. So 0 added, 0 change, and 0 destroy.
okay.
So that means you feel free to run as many times you want. So remember that
Okay.
I said once this code is sent to by Terraform to provider and provider to AWS, response will be stored in what file?
State file.
State file. Here it is. You
Okay.
can open this file, but don't practice with this one. Don't modify
Yeah.
this one.
This state file is created only after the Terraform apply runs, right?
Apply. Yeah.
First time.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And if
It
in
will
case I'm in
automatically build
Terraform,
it, right?
Yeah. Go ahead. So here
Oh,
Terraform
yeah.
apply will
Yeah,
create
once you're done with the
this.
apply, it will automatically create the shapefile, right?
Yeah. And remember this is containing your response from AWS in JSON format. Okay. So now you'll say, Rajesh, I want to know IP address. So show. So show will give you that file, state file. And your IP address, public is this one, private is this one. So here
Terraform show, just a second. I mean, Terraform show will give you the resource
state
which you
file
have just straight file.
created.
Okay.
State file. It will read the show will read your state file. Simple.
One question here, like there would be only multiple resources could be uh, deployed in one go, right? Like
Hmm.
having a multiple files. So
Hmm.
there would be only one Terraform state file. So in that
Hmm.
state file only every resources, I mean, how will you distinguish that which part is for what?
So every resources, one provided or 10 provided, output will be in a state file. How do you see? I showed you the command. But the problem with this command is it will show you everything. Correct now?
Yeah,
So
I
how do
mean,
we
currently you just, I mean, deployed one resource. So
yeah.
whatever you are saying is applicable to that resource only. But if there are multiple resources, so how could you
Ha,
distinguish that that IP address belongs to this VM or whatever?
ha. So there is a solution for it. Solution is output values. So basically you don't want to see everything. You just want to see selected one. So here you
Hmm.
see AWS I mean this is the name of the resources web
Okay. Hmm.
and dot. So here if you see next time you create a resources you cannot use this name. It has to be web1. So
Okay.
now this will create one, this will create a two. Okay,
Mhm.
so unique name for the same provider not allowed by Terraform. So you want to see this IP address web. You want to see this IP address web1. So like that you will see. I'll show you the one shortcut because you asked this question. This is the easy way to get the
Okay. GPT.
code. Code.
Oh, okay.
So here, so this name, this will give you only the value which you wanted. Easy.
Mhm.
So here, public IP address, this name can be anything, but this has to be aligned. So let me show you. So here, AWS underscore instance dot web, AWS underscore instance dot web. Understood?
Oh,
And web dot public IP. So this is correct. Now what you need to do? Clear this. Apply one more time. No change in the code, but I updated this. Yes, it will not do any changes, but you see here now.
okay. It would be output there itself.
So you don't need
Okay.
to, so you don't need to run show. Show will show you everything of the state file. But now you don't need everything. What to do?
Mhm.
So add output values
You
for
can
that
have
is good.
output here in the code only. You cannot run from the command line, right? Terraform
No, no,
output.
you output, yeah, here,
Okay.
see here.
Okay.
Got it.
Okay. Yes.
Many ways are there. Slowly we'll explore that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so what I did? Nothing. You want to create more resources? Yes. Now let me try to create with Azure resources also because you express your things. So where is a code? I wrote some code somewhere. It's okay. I'll take it up one more time. So here I will ask Azure and I'm creating only one resources which is group. You know the group, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, research group.
So I can write it here also, but because I don't like to being so lazy, easy to read now should be for others people. It's not only about me. So this I'm creating one more Terraform file,
TF, yeah.
and here I'll write. Now this will be done. Name of it. I'll just add some more character. I don't know whether I have created in the past or not. And then I will set the authentications. So for that, I will ask, how do I set the authentications for you? So go to documentations homepage, and here you can use any of these thing. Authenticating to Azure using service principal, client secret, or client certificate, or CLI. You can do whatever you want. Okay. So you need to create service principal, all this thing, and you need to put all this thing in the, so I'm just looking for the snippet. Here it is. Here it is. Okay. So this is the code in provider. This is the one. I need to feed all this data, client ID, client secret, tenant ID, and subscription ID. These all the data I need to feed. This all hard code.
And
And then
I think
again apply, plan, apply, and same command. You do that. Got it, all of you?
Yeah.
mhm.
So let me see if I have this data somewhere. Uh, where I kept it, I don't remember. Let me create it. So go to Azure. First thing, you have to go to ID, and here go to app registrations. One app I had created long back. No,
New registration.
just a second. I should have created.
It's
Okay,
not showing there.
registered application, Terraform demo. Okay, registered. So let's gather some input from here. Client ID, tenant ID. So I got a tenant ID,
And subscription ID also.
subscription. So subscription ID, I'll get it later. Client secret here, client credentials. Okay, and create a client secret
ID secret, yeah.
demo.
And it is one, is like one time usable, right? So
Yeah,
if we
I mean,
refresh the page, it will go away.
yeah. So I just given client ID, and sorry, this is the client secret. Client ID is,
Session ID.
where
Oh,
is
on the
application?
overview page only. Overview page.
Where?
On the
Just go
overview
to
page only.
overview on this.
Ah, yeah.
Overview.
No, no, no. Yeah, you can click on
It,
this one.
So this is the client ID. Okay. Now last thing, subscription ID. So let me add it. This into the subscription. Here, go to free trial. This is the last date for free trial. So luckily we got it. Otherwise I don't have any accounts actually. I mean for training use. IAM, and add that access as a role. Let's add a owner or something. Ah,
Now it should be like distributor,
owner.
contributor actually.
Just for time being.
Oh,
It's
yeah,
okay.
okay. There's a
Select
contributor
a
will
member.
give all the accesses.
Demo. Select. A review assign. And now subscription ID. I'll get it. That is the last one. Done. Okay, there is some failure. Okay, I think subscription got expired.
Yeah, it already
So
shows you when you open the
mm,
subscription. Yeah,
yeah.
you
So
need to
this is
upgrade it to
subscription
full.
ID last one. That's all. Now this will not work, but this is how it is. And after that, plan, you know that. Okay. First validate actually, then plan, then apply, show, and output. So AWS changes
Actually,
is already done, still not be done. But
if
for the
you
Azure,
add it, you can.
there is a problem. Got it? All of you?
Yeah. Yeah.
So this is the way. Now what you need to do? So you need more resources like this. One resources like this. Let me show you some examples. I go to blog, here this URL, I'll share with you. Just type Terraform example. Now, here you see this example. All this example I have tested. Just hmm. See here. This example will create a resources which is Azure VM. So here resource group, network, subnet, public IP, security group, opening a 22 port, network interface security group, some random ID. This is a different provider. Again, I've used it. And this is a storage account. If you know Azure, then you understand what are the things required to create one VM first time.
Yeah,
This is the some secret, keys, and this is a VM. And in the VM, if you see that, they are using everything as a reference. Whichever you created up, no, you are creating as a reference variable. This I'll talk about it, but it's like this. See here. So when they are creating VM, resource group name is coming from top. This one. See here. One more example, AWS. So see here, this will create a EC2 instance with EBS also. And here, so see here, this is the volume we created. We attach the volumes to this EC2 instance. Now if you see that we are creating instance here and everything as it is. Understood now? Understood now?
Yes.
yeah.
So what is the Terraform code? How to write code? You need to write resources. These resources will come based on the requirements. Are you understanding?
Yep.
Okay. Any questions so far?
In which scenario, which provider need to be used? How, I mean, usually for Azure, I mean, I do have just little knowledge of Azure. So I have been using Azure RM, but apart from that, there are many provider which I have seen on the provider page that relates to Azure only. So
You
how
have to
could
decide.
we?
You cannot decide that one. Your requirement. See, your requirement will
Mhm,
decide which provider you will use. No, are you going to
okay.
automate Kubernetes using Terraform? Then Kubernetes provider. Are you going to
Mhm,
automate AWS using Terraform? You know the answer. Azure, you know the answer. Google Cloud, you know. Basically, it all depends on your project. For learning purpose, we are using one or two provider, but when it comes for requirement, then you will have a specification. So you have to sit before. Don't jump on the coding. Decide first. Work on this. What is the work actually I'm having? Which are the platform we are using? Accordingly, check the providers here, and then those you are going to use it. So this is a bigger one, and a lot of it is you have a Salesforce are you doing in Terraform automation? Here you have random for generating random string. Vault provider, VMware, hell lot of which. Correct now?
Yeah.
Akamai is here.
Okay.
Okay. So now next topic would be variables.
Have any issues with our channel membership, you can drop an email to us at contact@devopschool.com, or you can also unsubscribe from channel membership anytime if you don't want to continue or did not like the video.
Please be kind enough to like it, and you can comment any of your doubts and queries. We will reply to them at the earliest.
Thanks for watching.